Hi and welcome to ABG Sundal Collier's Investor Day. My name is Hanna Forsgren and I work as an equity research analyst here at ABG. With me today I have Mårten Hellberg, CEO for OrganoClick. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Hanna. My name is Mårten Hellberg. I'm CEO and co-founder of OrganoClick. I'll give you a little introduction to who we are today and also a little bit about the current development and also looking into 2023, which we are looking forward to a lot right now. OrganoClick, our mission began our journey began 25 years ago when my scientific co-founders, Professor Hafren and Professor Armando Cordova, started their research within biomimicry and natural chemistries at Stockholm University and the Swedish University of Agricultural Science. They already then realized that this would become a problem. But 25 years ago, there was not so many people that thought about plastics as a problem. But they realized this and started to look into how can we use cellulosic materials and bio-based raw materials to replace plastics and different type of synthetic chemicals. And since 25 years, our mission has been to replace plastics and different toxic chemicals with bio-based solutions. Biomimicry, what is that? Well, that is to mimic different natural processes. Like, why is a leaf becoming water repellent? Or what is it that makes a tree so strong? Or why does some trees burn less good than other trees? What are the molecules and different natural chemistries that is doing this? This is what our scientific co-founders have been doing research within since the last 25 years. And in 2006, we founded OrganoClick based on their fundamental research within this field. And when we met 16 years ago, they had developed what we call modification of cellulosic fibers. We can click on organic molecules to the cellulose in wood, paper, textiles, and non-woven materials. Our name is actually derived from two different chemistries, organocatalysis and click chemistry. And we're actually very proud now that organocatalysis was awarded the Nobel Prize last year in 2021, and click chemistry was awarded the Nobel Prize this year. So both are chemistries that we started to use in different applications 16 years ago has now been recognized as extremely important to turn away from fossil chemistry to more green chemistry. So this is certainly something we're proud of. Coming from 16 years, it took us nearly 6 years before we actually could launch the first product. So it was pure R&D the first 6 years. But in 2012, we launched our first application based on this chemistry. And today, 16 years later, we're working within 3 different fields where we utilize our core technology of modifying cellulose. And we work with wood impregnation or wood protection, where we replace different type of toxic biocides and heavy metals with natural minerals that we attach to the fibers. We work with binders. That is a way of increasing the strength of materials such as textiles, paper, and non-woven, where we are replacing synthetic or plastic-based binders in, for example, a napkin or a wipe with different biopolymers that we find in different side streams from the food industry, like an orange peel, for example. And we work with textile impregnation, where we are replacing PFAS or fluorocarbons, which is now being banned in the European Union, with different water-repellent molecules that you can find on leaves. So we're really targeting major areas where there are toxic chemicals today. Today we have been listed on Nasdaq First North since 2015. We have our headquarter, our R&D and production in Täby, where we now have a production capacity of actually not 20,000, but now we see it's 25,000 tons, because our new production line is working better than we expected. We see that now that we'll get out an extra 5,000 tons from the new production line that we installed in September. So that is really nice, actually, that we can say that. Last year we had revenues of a little bit more than 100 million, and we can also now be proud to say that we were certified as a climate neutral company since October this year. And that is due to the fact that we are only using renewable energy in our production. We have transferred our car fleet to electric cars, and we use almost actually zero fossil energy in our production line. So this is really something that also our customers take notice of, because they also want to reduce their carbon footprint. This is a very clear goal for our industrial customers. We have our companies divided in 4 different business areas, and I will start with the business area which we call non-woven and technical textiles. And for you who does not know what a non-woven material is, it is something that is in between paper and textiles. You produce it with a machine which is similar to a paper machine, but you use soft fibers so you get a textile-like feeling on the material instead of a paper-like material. And what you see here on the right side is a napkin, a premium napkin made by our customer Duni, which are now changing their binders that they've used, which have been derived from plastics, to our binders, which is derived from biopolymers. So in these non-woven materials, they are normally composed of cellulosic fibers, which are renewable and biodegradable, but you normally impregnate them with plastic binders in order to create the strength in these materials. And here is what we have been working on to develop bio-based and biodegradable binders, where we're utilizing side streams from the food industry, biopolymers derived from, for example, orange peel, oat husk, wheat bran, shrimp shells, that mimics the same type of feeling and characteristics that the plastic binder gets. So you get a fully renewable and biodegradable material with our technology. And today, the 2 public customers that we have is Duni and Ahlström. One important aspect why the companies are choosing to work with us, except for the sustainability aspect, is also the European Union Single-Use Plastic Directive, which is targeting 2 product areas where non-wovens are used: wet wipes and hygiene products. And when we're talking about hygiene products, it's baby diapers, feminine care products, and this type of products. That they are composed of a lot of layers of non-woven material. This year is the first year when we start to deliver our binders to Duni. We have now until January to September 4.3 million in revenue, and most of this was generated in September when our first high volume deliveries started to go to Duni. So really now we are shipping tank trucks to Duni on a regular basis. So this Q4 will be the first one when we start to deliver really regular. So this is really exciting times for us. And if you go into the customer case with Duni, we signed a 5-year contract in 2021 with them, with an approximate volume which is above 30 million SEK per year in revenues for us. This have now, during 2021 and 2022, been scaled up, and the first high volume delivery started in September. So now in Q4, we now have a more regular flow of binders to them. We will not reach the complete volume, but we will nearly reach the complete volume of the agreement. But in the first quarter of 2023, then we will have reached the full volume of this contract. So this will then be a steady contract for us, supply of binder. The binder is an essential part of their production. So we need to supply them all the time. It will be like a tank truck every second day from our factory. So it's a quite interesting phase for us right now. If you look into other applications which we are working with agricultural nonwovens, where Ahlström have launched the first product group with our binders. We're working in several projects with hygiene products, so that is baby diapers, but mainly feminine care products. This is an area where we have a lot of interest right now. Wipes as well. This is a very important area. Tea bags is actually non-wovens, and coffee filters. And you don't realize that there is a lot of plastics in tea bags, but that is, and actually snus pouches. They are composed of about 50% plastic binders. So this is an area which is quite important for the Swedish market at least, and an area where we actually have projects ongoing to replace these plastic binders with our bio-based binders. In medical nonwovens, well, the mouth face mask. Probably many of you have seen a lot of face masks during the last 2 years being thrown away, and they are composed mainly of plastic polymers. They are also involved in projects to replace them. So there are a lot of areas where nonwovens are used. But our main focus right now is, of course, the napkins, the Duni business, feminine hygiene care products, and wipes. These are areas where there is a lot of customer interest right now. Looking into 2023, yes, now we see that we will have the full volume of the Duni contract, so it will create at least 30 million in revenue for us. And we believe also that we will have a continuous growth to Ahlstrom. Ahlstrom is quite different to Duni. Duni is working mainly with napkins. It's like one big product group. Ahlstrom is a bigger company, but they have a lot of different niches. So we need to implement our binders in each different product category. So we have a lot of development projects ongoing with them, but we believe that with Ahlstrom we can grow for a very long time. And in the long term, there is bigger potential in the Ahlstrom business because they have 5 factories where they're using binders. They only have 1 factory, but we need to implement ourselves in their different products. It will be more like a continuous growth than a sudden big step in revenue increase. And 2 new customers are now preparing product launches in front of 2023. So sometimes, not first quarter, but I expect somewhere in the middle of 2023, we will have 2 new customers launching products as well. Within the functional wood area, we are working with wood protection that are free from biocides and heavy metals. We're using natural minerals instead. That is attached to the fibers and used as a physical protection instead of being a toxin to the wood fungus. Here we are partnering with Base Timber, who is performing all the wood impregnation in their factory down in Småland in Nybro. And the treated wood is sold in the Nordics, Germany, UK, Italy, and France at the moment. And here we have seen this year a very good revenue growth in actually Finland and Germany, while in Sweden the building market have really gone down. This is something that is an unfortunate part of the economic downturn right now. The DIY market and the building market is really going down for us. So in Sweden we have a weak market, but we have seen a very good growth in the German and Finnish market, and that is why we still have a slight increase in revenues as we are growing on the export markets. We have now launched 2 new wood protection technologies during the last year, and what we have really been improving here is the production, how we produce them. We get a much better quality, much more even impregnation. We get better durability on the wood, and this is now being implemented in full scale in our production, and this is now phasing out our first production technology. Here, what we see also is that we will reduce the production cost, and this is also a very important part in order to be more competitive towards the traditional pressure impregnated wood. But from 2023, we will have phased out the first generation completely and implemented the new production technologies. If we look at now what's happened recently, we see actually an improved sales development in Q4, which might seem a little bit odd due to the fact that the building industry is going down. But this is actually why. It's because Siberian larch, who have been a very big product in Germany and Finland, is now banned in these 2 countries. The import of that have stopped completely. So our distributors have started to buy in more organowood to fill up the gap that the Siberian larch, the export ban of Siberian larch have created. And Siberian larch have been a really big product in Germany and Finland. So oddly for us, this is actually supporting our business. In Sweden, it's not so big with Siberian larch, so here we don't see exactly the same effect, but in Finland and Germany, it's a really big product. So we expect this also to grow quite good in 2023 due to the import ban of Siberian larch. However, in Sweden, we believe it will be a weak market. Everything we see is talking for that. But in Germany and Finland, we think this will make up more than the weakness in Sweden, actually, in 2023. The new improved technology that we have are now being implemented in our production. It's a very easy production. We can use much quicker and easier way of producing it, even more even quality. So this will also improve our operations or the cost in our operations. So this is something we look forward to now. In our consumer goods segments, where we are supplying consumers with our different chemical technologies. We have two different areas. We have one area targeting the outdoor and sport sector with textile and shoe care products, so textile impregnations in order to create water-repellent textiles. It's called OrganoClick. And we have one area targeting the DIY and building sector, BioClean, so it's treatment and maintenance of wood. Here we have two completely different markets at the moment. The DIY and building market is extremely weak. The consumers are there. We see a very, very sharp decline in consumer demand. However, on the other side, the textile impregnation sector, there we're growing really good. We have a 68% revenue increase during 2023 in OrganoClick sales, but it's still a smaller product segment compared with the DIY and building sector. So this, what in total, we have seen a decline for this business segment, although the OrganoClick product is growing extremely good. OrganoClick customers, we are selling it to retailers such as Naturkompaniet, XXL, Stadium, Team Sportia, Partioaita, the sister company of Naturkompaniet in Finland. We are now also targeting the German, the Dutch, Austrian market for OrganoClick, where we are. This is really the ambition for 2023 to go into these areas. And we launched also a very interesting collaboration with Snickers Workwear in October. Snickers is, as you know, one of the largest workwear companies in Europe. They want their customers to be able to re-impregnate their clothes. They sell a lot of clothes which is supposed to be rain or water repellent, but when you have washed out the water repellents, they have not had a product for them to re-impregnate them. But now they will start selling our product under as a co-branded product to all their retailers within the DIY sector. So it will be sold together with their clothes. And this does not compete at all with us because we are focusing totally on the outdoor and sport goods sector. This is where we are focusing with our brand. So this is what it looks like. It's Snickers by OrganoClick. And this is now being rolled out. They sell their products on 10 different markets. They have more than 1,000 retailers. So they are selling it now through their own sales channels, which is for us, of course, extremely good because we don't have any sales cost associated to this. This is rolled out by them. And it goes out on all their different markets at the same time. So next year we expect this to be quite good revenue increase for the textile impregnation segment for us. If we look at operations, which is a very important part for us in terms of cost and in terms of efficiency, we have invested in and implemented a new line for producing our bio-based binders. We thought that this would be able to produce 10,000 tons of binder per year, but now after having been running it for 3 months, we see that it is a 50% increase compared with what we thought. So it will be able to produce 15,000 tons. For doing it, just to give you an example, that is around 3,000 tons per year. So it can produce about five units in this production line that we just invested in. So we are running this now on 1.5 shift, I would say, for the current, but you can run it up to 5 shifts. So this is a very efficient way. It's one operator that is running it per shift, so it's very low cost for producing binders with this production line. It's very automated. We also invested in a new water treatment system, which was implemented in September. That also reduces cost because we can recycle the process water that we have internally. Previously, we had to discard it through different firms so it had to be shipped away, and then we had to pay for that. Now we can recycle it and get it back into our production, so we can use the same water again. And this also reduces cost in our production. And one important thing, we have had our own internal biocomposite production for. We work with different biocomposites. We've been producing this material internally in the past, but now we have found out licensing partners, which will reduce our cost extremely a lot, and we go over to more to a licensing and royalty based model. So we will create the royalties from producing the biocomposites that we've done internally in the past, and this will substantially reduce our cost. Looking at the financial development during the last 5 years, we have been steady growing the revenues. during the last 5 years. However, we were affected quite a lot by the pandemic in terms of increasing raw material cost. And this you can see on the gross margin. They went down quite a lot in 2021, which at that stage when we also invested a lot in our own operations. We had a lot of investments for sales growth and also for building up our production. And that, in combination with the decline in gross margins was not good for our profit development. However, I have two lines here. One is the gross margin from variable cost, and one is the gross margin for including all the fixed cost. And these two lines we expect now when we increase the volumes of binders to start merging together. This is the scalability of our business model, which we see. Because next year, when we know that we have a much higher volume of binders, we don't expect any increase in OpEx. We have done all the investments needed in order to scale up our production and supply right now. And that will create a quite rapid increase in the gross margin, including the fixed production cost, moving up towards the gross margin for just variable cost. So what we see for next year is that we can keep the OpEx, maybe even have it a little bit lower than this year, due to the fact that we are doing much more automated production right now, while increasing revenues quite a lot. And just reminding you, what we have now for next year is the Duni deal, which will be in full force next year, so it will be more than 30 million in revenue, only from this deal. We believe we also will have further sales growth to Ahlstrom, as well as the new nonwoven customers, which probably come in during middle of next year, I would say. And OrganoClick with the Snickers deal and also further revenue growth from going into new markets. But one of the most important thing right now in order to increase profitability is that we now have a budget of completely fixed OpEx next year. No increase on any part of in our operations. And that in combination with, of course, the increased revenues from binders and also from OrganoClick, we expect to have quite quick increase in profitability for us. So with that, I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Morten, for the presentation. So I have a question, and that is, what is the biggest focus area for you the coming year?
Well, binders. No, the binder business is certainly so as, for one aspect, the Duni agreement. We will focus a lot on supplying them, have a good full year supply, and make this more efficient and improve that in every way. Of course, this deal have also opened up a lot of other interest from a lot of customers who are now working hard to launch products as well. So really work together with our other partners to make them also transform away from the plastic binders to our binders is a very big focus for us.
Time is unfortunately running out, but thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.